Hello, welcome to Soulprint Insights. I am so glad that you have joined me today. So today I want to talk about color healing or using color to heal. And it's really a very broad and expansive subject. So we're just going to start at the beginning, and this is probably going to take several videos to kind of get it going, but we'll start at the beginning and with the basics. Before I switch to that, I just want to mention that in terms of protection, there are also a couple of things that you can really consider doing. Burning sage, either the incense or the incense sticks, or my personal preference is dried sage. That is very helpful, particularly if you can burn it and have windows and doors kind of open so that energy is dissipating. The negative energy that's being purified and moved along by the sage has somewhere to go. So when you're burning sage, a couple things. One, you want to make sure you actually get the corners where energy tends to be most stagnant. If there is somebody, for example, if you're trying to remove energies from somebody who is having a hard time of any kind, and you want to kind of lift that energy and almost like make sure they're not standing in the same sort of negative or lower form energy, whether they're ill or depressed or just upset and sad. So should that be the case, if they have like a favorite spot they sit, that literally saging that object will help to lift away the energy so they're not sort of sitting in it. Okay. And the other two things that are super helpful to have with you or near you are smoky quartz, little tiny tumbled pieces, raw, beautiful pieces like this. Keep them around, keep them close. The small tumbled ones are awesome if you want to tuck them in your bra or your pocket. So just a thought, keep that in mind. And the other one, of course, is clear quartz, because clear quartz is probably one of my most favorite crystals because it just does so much stuff. I mean, it protects you, it grounds you, it helps you open your third eye. There's so much that it does. So typically, where you see one, it's not unusual to see them sort of side by side. So just something to consider. Okay, so we're going to start with sort of the basics. Now, there are all kinds of disciplines out there when it comes to color healing and what they mean and how they should be looked at. I tend to keep it really pared down to something very simple and very basic. So the first thing I want to do is I want to, reconnect with the chakra energies to see if the energies of the colors and what they do is helpful, right? It could be something that I could utilize to accomplish the healing I'm trying to accomplish. So let's start with your root chakra. It is red. It is sometimes referred to as the body of God or the body of the divine. That energy is it's literally the root of your energy. Let's just start there. It is it's kind of like the root of life, okay? Red-blooded, that is where that vitality and that energy comes from. It comes from the root chakra. It also has to do with body organs, and it has to do with circulation. So when would you use red, for example, as a healing color? Well, you would use red first if somebody was feeling incredibly insecure or incredibly scared. You would want to send them red energy to help boost the level of energy that they are currently experiencing. Red is one of those colors that we don't tend to use a great deal of because too much red, and frankly, you have too much aggression, too much anger. You get a little bit too sort of in people's faces. But It's a good color to be mindful of because sometimes we all need a bit of a perk, and that would be the color and the chakra to go to. Okay, your sacral chakra is orange. It is the one below your belly button. And that is considered the will of God. And the orange chakra is about the will of the spirit. It is about creation. It is about procreation. When you think of the sacral chakra, you tend to think about just creative enterprises, whether you are, baking the perfect apple pie, or you are composing a concerto, or anything in between. That energy sits in the sacral chakra. But the color orange is a really terrific color if you're wanting to send, again, somebody sort of a sense of real vitality. If you're wanting to help somebody connect with their kind of almost own inner self, with the desires of them, the desires of spirit. And it's a nice, bright, sort of cleansing color, if you think like a citrus and citrus smells. So that is also one, but again, oranges, lemons, all of that citrus, it all has an energizing and an uplifting sort of energy and feeling to it. Your solar plexus is the one, in the center, and it's yellow. It's often called the hand of God, or the divine. Sacral was the will of God, if I didn't say that. So the solar plexus, we rely on this one a great deal. It is what gives us our gut instinct, right? It is about action. It is about making what we need happen, moving forward, and energy. It is also, though, about being warm and compassionate and empathetic. It is about self-sacrifice sometimes. It is about seeing the bigger picture. So, again, yellow becomes one of those colors that if you're working with it in healing, you're wanting to send it to somebody if their confidence is shaken, or they're not feeling really secure in their own judgments. You also want it to send it to somebody, for example, if they're just feeling a little cold and perhaps detached from the world, maybe. You want to send them some yellow so that they just feel a bit more secure and a bit safe and, cocooned a little bit. The heart chakra is green. It is considered the heart of God, or heart of the divine. And it is about, love and wisdom and knowledge and your purpose and expansion. And it is also a color that is very, very often used, almost, I want to say, primarily for healing, typically physical healings. So green is that emerald green is a color that resonates to Archangel Raphael, and typically if you're working with healing energies, you want to call on Archangel Raphael and or his healing angels to help you with that process. So green is like literally sort of the primary color that we're going to use. And if you think about it, it makes perfect sense. Grass is green, leaves are green. Things that grow and blossom and bloom and nourish and nurture tend to either be green or start from a green seed, or, first shoots of life, whatever. So it's a super, super powerful color, and it's just a good one to keep in mind and use frequently. Okay, the throat chakra, the voice of God, it is blue. It is that robin's egg blue. So that has to do with communication. It has to do with self-expression. It has to do with literally finding your voice, whether that is in day-to-day conversations or whether that is as an artist. It is about being able to be heard. It is about opening your communication center so you can process and understand and heal and speak compassionately. Okay. And blue is a lovely color. Okay, so this is the thing. Okay, so you go red, orange, yellow. Those are the warm, hot colors. Okay, so you draw those colors in when you're looking for sort of overall warmth. I mean, if you think about those colors, those would be the colors that you would see in a fireplace or, you know, on a bonfire. They are warm, hot colors, and so you use them when things need to be warmed up. You know, something is cold or frozen. That's when you would use those colors, okay? The green in your heart chakra is sort of the new, it's like the divider, okay? It's almost like the neutral color that separates, if you will, the hot energies of red, orange, and yellow from the very cool energies of blue, indigo, violet, white, okay? So, that's sort of your cutoff point. So when you go into the throat, you're now looking at the cooler energy. So is it possible that you might want to send somebody or work with healing yourself with blue energy if you want them to speak more calmly, if you want to make sure you are not speaking without thinking, if you are working with the angelic or the divine realm and you want to make sure that you have clear communication with them, you would be wanting to work with that that blue, baby blue energy there. Now, the third eye is, you know, your third eye, right? It's considered the eye of God. It is indigo in color. It's like darker purple. Now sometimes there is a chakra right in here, right there, somewhere in there, that is your hearing chakra. But typically, if your throat chakra and your third eye chakra are sort of in sync, the hearing chakra tends to sort of not need a lot of assistance. But again, if you're having trouble hearing or being heard, you know, you might want to look into the ear chakra. And part of what's a little confusing is when you get to the ear, the third eye, and the crown, they all tend to be colors and tones of, you know, blues and purples. So the ear chakra is like a periwinkle blue, okay? All right, your third eye, that is indigo. It is the eye of God. Do not be surprised with indigo colors. Sometimes you will see silvers and golds moving through them, as you often do with your crown chakra. So the third eye is about, of course, intuition, insight, opening up that third eye so you have communication with multidimensional levels, okay? The third eye chakra is about infinity, right? About just the never-ending process and energies of life. And one thing that people don't tend to know about the third eye chakra is it also controls your 5 physical senses. Okay, so it controls, you know, touch, hearing, taste, whatever the other 2 are. You get my point, right? Those 5 physical senses that we have: smell, those are also actually supported by a clear and working third eye. And finally, you have your crown chakra. And the crown chakra is interesting because very often it is seen as a very pure white, white lights. Sometimes it is almost like a violet moving into that brilliant white light. And again, silver and gold, it's not unusual to see flecks of it. That crown chakra is sometimes called 1,000-petal lotus of spirit. It is your connection to the divine. So literally, when somebody says sending you love and light, what you literally are saying is, I am sending you green energy from my heart and white energy from my crown, I am sending you healing. I am sending you love. I am sending you the energy and the ability to connect with not only the divine, but your divinity within. Okay, so that's actually what we're saying when we're using that phrase. So when you want to deal with color healings, I tend to resonate to that range of colors. Now, so again, as I said earlier, red in particular, red hot, right? So that is an energy if you're trying to heat something up, warm something up. Blue is a cool energy. You're using that if you're trying to bring down the heat or the flame of something. And honestly, whether that is inflammation within the body or whether that is just communicating with somebody who feels like they have been left behind, okay, or forgotten. Pastels. I like to use pastels when I am looking for an overall energy of just peace and sort of almost like a fresh beginning or a new start. And for me, the pastel colors make me think of like nurseries or newborn babies or the beginning of life or flowers coming to life in the spring, that sort of birth process and the gentleness that can be associated with that new energy. So oftentimes I will use the pastels if, like for example, with Australia, I send pastels because I want to just cool everything down. And of course, that robin's egg blue, that light blue, to cool things right down is one of the pastel colors. The pastel's the green, so you're sending love and heart energy. You're sending baby yellow to keep the flame going, but not extinguish the flame, but let it continue, to be. And and pink. So, which is also the color of love, understanding, green is love, green is healing. So when you're sending like a clump of colors like that, this is the thing about any kind of healing, any of them. It really is created by the intention you set when you are working with the energy, okay? So if I want to, let's go back to Australia. If I want to calm down those flames, I'm going to be sending in blue. I'm going to be sending in the pastel tones. I'm going to be sending in protection. So I might be calling Archangel Michael or Archangel Ariel. Archangel Ariel tends to deal with domestic animals, wild, animals on the planet, domestic and wild. So, I'm going to send her and her angels in and ask that they please keep care of the koalas and the kangaroos and the literally 1 billion animals have been lost to this wildfire. It is insane. Okay, so you're going to want to be sending in cool energies. But you know what? If in your world, for some reason you see a cool energy as, say an orange, a soft orange, use it, because as long as your intention with the color is in place, so why you're sending the color you're sending, whatever that intention is, that is how it works. Okay, it's not about a specific tone or shade or amount of a color. The colors are energy. They're ebbing and flowing and bleeding into each other all of the time. There are some cultures that think black is a color of mourning, and some cultures think white is a color of mourning. There's cultures that think white is the color of a wedding, that virginal, innocent white. There are other cultures that have very vibrant, bright colors as their wedding gowns. So it really is kind of the intention behind the color and the intention behind the healing that actually gives it its energy and its push kind of going forward. So when you're wanting to send somebody energy, it honestly, you create the intention. And sometimes the easiest way to do it is literally see them in your third eye, see that person or that situation, or see it in your hand. Just envision it in your hand so you can look at it. And you're going to say, you know, okay, I am sending the blue lights of cooling energy, and I am sending the pastel energy to cool the flames. I am sending green energy to keep the animals and the firefighters and all the first responders and just the citizens safe and protected as they can be. And I'm going to swirl those energies kind of like a twisty ice cream cone or a candy cane. And then I'm just going to send them. I'm going to see them, and I'm going to, like, with love I send. And it's done, okay? It doesn't need to be this massive, huge, big procedure. Same if you're doing something for yourself. I mean, they have things out now where you can take, you know, they have a product that you put into your bathtub and it turns the water orange or red or, you know, pink or blue, like, you know, so you're supporting the chakra and the energies connected to the chakra when you're soaking in, you know, colored water. People often comment on the fact that my jewelry and my clothes, the color of my clothes, often match. And some people think that I'm really organized, and I do that on purpose. But the truth of it is that very, very often the colors I am wearing are intuitively and instinctively selected for the day. And the same goes with my jewelry. I pull, or I'm attracted to certain pieces, certain colors of gems or crystals, because something in my body is asking for that or needing that that kind of energy. So again, you know, the color energies are not literal. They're almost like suggestions, if you will, because a lot of times it's what the color, you know, kind of means to you. Before I forget, speaking of Australia, one of our viewers sent a comment saying that she had built a ice wall around the fires in Australia to calm down those flames. And I thought that was an absolutely brilliant visualization technique, because it's pretty easy to see, you know, a wall built of blocks of ice surrounding fires, and that ice sort of melting and cooling everything down. So it's a great visualization. Again, whatever resonates with you is honestly what is going to work for you. So I'm going to wrap this up, but that's kind of the basis of those colors, and that's those are the colors that you primarily are going to be working with. And I hope that this has given you some insight, and we will carry on and talk about methods of healing and that sort of thing. But understand, at the bottom of it all, it's about your intention and about visualization, seeing it, feeling it from the heart, and sending it. And whether you are sending that energy out to a country or out to a person, or you are sending it inside yourself to help balance your chakras, or heal a heart, or bring down inflammation in the body, colors can be used for all of that stuff, okay? So for right now, thank you so much. The support has been wonderful. I'm so grateful. And thank you for the comments. They're so kind and so generous, and I'm very appreciative of those also. Okay, so until next time, stand in your power and stand in your light. Bye.